let's talk about improper integrals. And these will typically be the integrals where you are going to be seeing an infinity, okay? So it's not a number, but instead in your limits, you're going to be seeing an infinity. And how do you solve out integrals like this? So first things first, let's just integrate this, and we know that it's in the form x raised to the power n, so we know what this is going to integrate to, and it's going to be x minus 1 divided by minus 1, right? And of course the limits, so the limits are going to be infinity and 1. So let's simplify this a little. I don't like it in this form. So this negative 1 is when it divides this thing, it's basically going to be negative x, right? It's basically going to be negative x raised to the power minus 1. Now, of course, the limits, and I just want to simplify this a little bit further. So I just want to simplify this a little bit further, and we have a negative 1 in the power, so we know this is going to be this thing. We're just going to take the reciprocal, and now it's the positive power 1. So, and of course the limits, don't forget the limits. Okay, now let's solve this. Let's solve this and see what do we get, what the answer is going to be. So ideally, when you have this infinity, all you got to do is simply, just like you have been just like you've been putting your numbers over here into these x's before, that's exactly what you're going to do this time. You're going to pick up this infinity, you're going to put it in place of the x. So that's what I'm going to do. It's going to be negative 1 over infinity, and then you subtract negative 1 over 1, okay, because that's the lower limit. So what is this thing going to turn out to be? I know that this entire thing is going to turn out to be negative 1 divided by 1 is just going to be negative 1. Then this negative 1 and that negative are going to become positive. So this entire thing is going to be positive 1. Now what is this thing right here going to be? So whenever you have infinity, you kind of want to look at it like this. So you have a negative 1, right? Now imagine if you divide this thing by 10. So you're going to get, let's say something like negative 0.1. And then you divide it by 100. So then you're going to get 0.01. Then you divide by 1,000, so then you're going to get 0.001. And as you keep on doing this, you're getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. So you're basically reaching some number. You're basically approaching the number 0. Right? You get closer and closer to 0. As you divide by bigger and bigger numbers, you approach 0. So infinity is practically the biggest number ever, right? And so that means when you divide a number by infinity, you're basically going to approach 0. So this thing is basically going to evaluate to positive 1, and that right there is going to be your answer. So how do you want to evaluate these infinity things? You just want to put them in place of x, and then you want to imagine what's going to happen when you multiply something or divide something or add something by bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger numbers. That's the approach you want to take with questions like these.